Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday and welcome to BBSN. This is Anthony, and we are back to the Strat Time Machine 1922 St. Louis Browns replay, where they traveled to 1977 to see how they fare against the American League in modern times. And if you watched my video on the cards getting here that I thought had the advanced and super advanced side for the Browns, I was mistaken. So we continue in basic, which is fine. Still fun to play this out. Today will be April 17th, 1977, and the Browns, 7-2 thus far, will be taking on the Chicago White Sox in the second game of their series. And at this point in real life, the Toronto Blue Jays, who the Browns again are supplanting, lost this game to the White Sox 4-2, and that left the Blue Jays at 5-5 after 10 games. So the worst the Browns can be after 10 games is 7-3. So already showing much improvement over the team that they replaced in 1977, which is to be expected. So with that, we will run down the starting lineups and we'll get rolling here. All right, first, for the Browns, the standard lineup that we've been seeing in most of their games: Tobin in right, Ellerby at third, George Sisler at first, Ken Williams in left, Baby Doll Jacobson in center, Marty McManus at second, Hank Severide catching, Chick Shorten at DH, Wally Gerber at short. And pitching today for the Browns will be Elam Van Gilder, and he is 1-1 thus far after 2 starts. For the White Sox, Alan Bannister leading it off at shortstop, Royal Stillman again in left, batting second, George Orta at second base hits third, Richie Zisk will be bats cleanup again in right, Big Jim Spencer at first base, Oscar Gamble designated hitter, Eric Soderholm the third baseman, Chet Bitterlemon in center field, and Jim Essien, who homered in the last game off Urban Shocker for the Sox's only run, will again be catching. It's early here, still getting my tongue untied. So with that, we are ready to go. Jack Tobin steps in, and Ken Brett, you see he is California. He was traded from the White Sox to the Angels fairly well, about a third of the way through the season actually, but since he is carded, even though he is on another team in this set, wanted to pitch him just so we have that piece of the replay realistic. So that's why he will be on the mound today. So we are ready to go. Jack Tobin steps in. Umpire set. Let's roll. All right, and right away, Brett gives up a single to Tobin to open the game. So the Brownies getting off to a good start with a runner here. And Tobin, he will try and steal on a roll of 3 or less, not happening. Frank Ellerby the batter. 1 and a 7, and that's going to be a pop out to third base. So F5, Ellerby goes down. Brett to Sisler, that was crooked. 4 and a 3, that'll be a fly ball X to left, and that's Royal Stillman out there. He is a 4. And a 5 will be a fly out, runner holds. So 2 outs for the Brownies here in the top of the first inning. Ken Williams up, and that is going to be a walk. So Williams, who's been swinging a very hot stick for the Browns early in the season. Brett did not wish to risk giving him a pitch he could hit. Baby Doll Jacobson off to a slow start, but has come back strong the last 2-3 games. And 3 and a 10, and that's going to be a walk, so the sacks are loaded. And just when you thought Mr. Brett might get out of this first inning unscathed, they are juiced with Browns. Marty McManus up. Pitch to McManus. And that'll be a fly ball center field X. Chet Lemon is a 3. Can he get to this? 15, and that's going to be a single. Runners advance 2, so Lemon cannot run it down. And Marty McManus comes through. 2 RBI single, and the juggernaut that is the St. Louis Browns jump out on top again. And they have been exceptional in the early innings in this replay thus far. So Hank Severide now, runners at the corners. 2 down, pitch from Brett. 3-9, fly ball to left field, and Stillman's going to put that away, and the inning is over. But, as has been the case often thus far, the Browns strike first, getting 2 runs on 2 hits, throw a couple of walks in there, and they leave 2 runners. We're heading to the bottom of the first inning. Browns up on the Sox early, 2-0. So Van Gilder, he has probably gotten off to about the shakiest start of the Browns hurlers. And not that it's been terrible, just has not been good. This would be a kind way to put it. 1-1 through 2 starts. And pitch to Bannister, 4-7. That's going to be a single. And Bannister needs 2 or less to try and steal. Not going to happen. Next up, Royal Stillman. And pitch to Stillman, 6-4. And Van Gilder's just going to try and give this right back. That's a split shot. Stillman with a big cut, and that's gone. 2-run home run, so nobody out, and the Sox have tied it here in the bottom of the first. 2-2. Yeah, it was Royal Stillman, who was really only a part-time player, getting only had 119 at bats, getting some early PT here due to the as-played lineups. And the Sox have tied it at 2. So Van Gilder again, victim of some poor mojo with the dice. 5-9, and that's going to be a pop out to first. Sisler puts that away. So Orta goes down. Richie Zisk up. Zisk would like to get a cut at one of those big juicy fastballs. 3-7, and that's a ground ball down to third base. And plucks that, or easily, Ellerby up with that easily, I should say, over to first, Sisler. And we have 2 down for Big Jim Spencer. So Spence gets the pitch. And that is going to be a ground ball to shortstop X, and Gerber is a 2. 18-2, and that's going to be a ground out. Gerber with a nice play. So 6-3 goes Spence, but the Sox come right back and touch up Van Gilder with a 2-run home run. And we are heading to the top of the second inning, and our score 2-2. So Chick Shorten, proudly now wearing the title of 1922's first and only designated hitter. In fact, I think he had a T-shirt made he's wearing under his jersey. 6-4 from Brett, and that's going to be a fly ball to, or I'm sorry, 6-8. Fly ball still to center field, so Lemon puts that away. 1 down, Wally Gerber up. And Gerber takes a couple of cuts at the air, the pitch, and that's going to be a single. So 4, not a favorable roll on Brett's card. And Gerber, he will try and steal with a roll of 3 or less. Is he going? He is not. So runner holds, 1 down up to the top of the order. And Jack Tobin up. Tobin single to start the game. And 1-6, and he's going to single again. Gerber is 1-14. And he's going to try for third. They're getting aggressive early, and he gets gunned down. So, big put out there is Gerber. And that's 8-5. Two down now, and that brings up Ellerby. Ellerby popped out to third base his first time up. And the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball down to third base. So Soderholm whips that over to Spencer at first base, and the Brownies get a couple of hits, but Gerber with the careless base running possibly cost them a run. And we are heading to the bottom of the second, still tied up at 2-2. So leading it off for the White Sox here in the bottom of the second will be Oscar Gamble. And again, early in this one, all the action coming in the first thus far. The Browns scoring on a couple of singles, and then with nobody out, second batter for the Sox in the bottom of the inning, Royal Stillman tied it up on a 2-run home run. Alan Bannister scoring in front of him. And the pitch from Van Gilder to Gamble, and that's going to be a single. So Big Oscar starts out the inning for the White Sox with a base hit, and he is another one of the Sox who is rather led in terms of foot speed. He will stay put. Soderholm up. 6 and a 9, and that's going to be a pop out to third base. Ellerby puts that away. 1 down, runner on first. Van Gilder gets a sign. Pitch to Lemon. And struck him out. So first strikeout of the game as Lemon gets fooled by the big bender. 2 down, and catcher Jim Essien, who homered in our last game between these two, steps up to the plate. 5 and a 3, and that's going to be a ground ball X to pitcher. And Van Gilder is a 4. So 6 and a 4, and that's going to be a single. Runners advance 1. So he gets 5 holed by Bannister. And runners on first and second now. Or by Essien, sorry, first and second. And that brings up the top of the order, Alan Bannister. Two outs, 2 on. And the pitch to Bannister from Van Gilder is a 2 and an 8. And that'll be a ground ball down to third base. So Ellerby takes care of that. And we have played 2 innings, and our score is 2-2. I'm killing the score sheet over here. 2-2, and we head to the top of the third. And George Sisler will lead it off for the Brownies. Sisler flew out to left field his first time up. Ken Brett has the ball. He's ready to go. So the pitch to Sisler, and that's a 5-6. And that'll be a fly ball to left. Stillman puts that away, 1 down. Second time Sisler has flown out to Stillman. Ken Williams up. And it's going to be a ground ball down to third. Soderholm takes care of that. 5-3 on the putout, 2 down. These Browns, though, they can explode at any moment. And that's going to be a fly ball left or to center field X, and Chet Bitter Lemon again is a 3 and a 20, and that's going to be roll 20-sided die again. 17, and that'll be a put out, so Lemon runs that one down, and 3 up, 3 down in the top of the third for the Brownies. And heading to the bottom of the inning and leading it off will be Royal Stillman. So Stillman, he put a jolt in one his first time up, a 2-run home run. Van Gilder sets, delivers. And that's a 2-5. That'll be a walk, so Stillman off to a good start in this game, a home run and a walk drawn. 5 and 5, and that's going to be a pop out to short. So F6 as Gerber puts that away. Richie Zisk the batter. and pop out to short again. So 2 down, runner on first, and Big Jim Spencer steps in. And that'll be a ground ball down to Sisler. He scoops that up. He's going to take it himself unassisted to the bag. So no runs, no hits, no errors for the White Sox in the bottom of the third. They do leave a runner. And we're heading to the 4th inning. Still knotted at 2 as Marty McManus gets set to lead it off for the 1922 Brownies. Here in their visit to 1977. And Brett the pitch. And that's going to be a single by McManus. And Marty has his second hit of the day. He drove in 2 runs with his first. And he'll try and steal on a roll of 4 or less on the 2-6. He's going to go. So Essien here is a -3. And McManus is a C. All right, so this is going to be a C. And it's going to be 1 to 8 to be safe. So here comes, he's going, Essien up to the throw, guns him down. So once again, caught stealing, and the base hit goes to waste as Hank Severide comes up. 1 out now for the Brownies. And 5 to 3 is going to be a ground ball down to first base. Spencer up with that. 3 unassisted, 2 outs. Designated hitter Chick Shorten up. 4 and a 5, ground ball to shortstop X, and Gerber is a 2. 15 and a 2, and that's going to be a nice play by Gerber. Or I'm sorry, by by Bannister. And Bannister's actually a 4. So that will still be a ground out. So the Brownies, they get a hit, but no runs in the top of the 4th inning. Head to the bottom, still tied up at 2. Van Gilder back on the mound for the Browns, and Oscar Gamble will lead it off. Gamble singled his first time up. A pitch from Van Gilder, and 4 and a 7, and Gamble is going to single again. So Oscar gets a lead. He's not going to try and steal, which is a good thing. Eric Soderholm up, pitch. And 4-7, and that'll be a single, and Gamble can advance on 1 to 14. And he's going to give it a shot, digging for third, and he's in there. So nobody out now, runners at the corner, and Van Gilder in trouble. Been a common theme for him early in the season thus far. And 5-7, that's going to be a split. No, I'm sorry, 5-7 is a strikeout. Second time Lemon's gone down swinging. So Van Gilder, that's a big play. Going to get Essien now to ground into a double play, the pitch. 5-11, and that's a ground ball to first X. And Sisler is a 1, very good fielding first baseman. 1 and a 2, and Sisler up with it. Whips it down to second base. Gerber returns a throw, and a 3-6-3 double play. Van Gilder gets out of the inning. A fine, fine defensive play by Sisler there. So 2 hits, no runs. They leave 1, and we're heading to the top of the 5th inning. We're still tied at 2. As it will be the top of the order when the Sox come back out for the 5th. And Wally Gerber, who made the nice pivot on that double play ball, is going to lead things off in the top of the 5th for the Brownies here. Ken Brett to pitch. 4-11, that's going to be a fly ball to right field X. And in right field for the Sox is Richie Zisk. He's a 4, not a very stellar fielder out there. 4-1, but he gets to this one, puts him away. So 1 down, back to the top of the order. Jack Tobin up. Ken Brett stares him down. Here comes a pitch, 5-6, fly ball to left field. Stillman puts that away, 2 down. So Tobin, after a pair of singles, is finally retired, and that brings up Frank Ellerby, who's 0 for 2. And looks like that run is going to continue as he grounds it down to third base. And Soderholm over to Spencer. And 3 up, 3 down for the Brownies. Second time that's happened today. And we head now to the bottom of the 5th inning, still tied at 2. So this game started with some fireworks and looked like it might be one of those shootouts that the Browns sometimes get involved in. But both pitchers have settled down since then. Brett especially, he's pitched very well. Van Gilder has flirted with trouble, but managed to avoid it for the most part. So Bannister leads it off with a walk in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that is his second time on base today. He's going to try and get a lead here, but not a runner, so he stays put. Royal Stillman up, and Stillman walked and homered. He's been the early POG candidate for the Sox here. And that's going to be a ground ball X to short. And Gerber again is a 2. So he's going to look to turn this. 4 and a 2, and that is going to be a nice pickup, but he can't get it to second. Only plays to first base. So Bannister advances, and Stillman grounds out 6-3. 1 down, runner in scoring position for George Orta. And Gilder to the pitch. And he's living in that bad area there. That's a single. I'm sorry, he's not. I've misread that twice now. 5-7 is a strikeout. That's a good area for him to live in. So swing and a miss. Ring him up, Johnny. 2 down. Second time I've looked in the 4 column on that roll. So I'm trying to get Van Gilder out of the box here. 2 and a 7, and that's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. So up with that is Gerber. And the White Sox get the leadoff walk, but waste it, and we're heading to the top of the 6th, still tied at 2. And George Sisler is going to lead things off for the Brownies here. And Sisler 0 for 2, 2 flyouts to Stillman and left, and he can get things going here. This is a catcher X card, and Essien is a 2, fairly good defensive catcher, but a roll of 20. And roll 20-sided die again. 16, and that's going to be a wild pitch followed by a foul out, so nobody on base. Sisler 0 for 3 today, pops out to the catcher. And we have 1 down, top of the 6th inning, score tied at 2, 1922 Browns versus the 1977 Chicago White Sox in our Strat Time Machine replay. 1 and a 10 to Williams, pops him up. And Orta's going to be under that. 2 outs now for Baby Doll Jacobson. And the Brownies have been stifled. They only have 1 hit since the 2nd inning as Brett has settled down nicely. 3-5, and that's going to be a sharply hit line drive right at Soderholm. So another 3 up, 3 down inning for the Brownies, and we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. And our score remains Browns 2, White Sox 2. Van Gilder back out on the mound for the Brownies, and he's going to face Big Jim Spencer to get things going. White Sox first baseman is grounded out to short, grounded out to first. Here comes a pitch. 4 and a 9, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field. And Tobin puts that away, 1 down. Oscar Gamble up. Gamble is 2 for 2, 2 singles. 1-3, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base. McManus up with it over to Sisler, 2 down for the White Sox. Eric Soderholm, the batter now. 2 outs, nobody on. And 3-6, that's a split chance skinny single, but that's going to be a line out to third base, so Ellerby puts that away. And 3 up, 3 down for the White Sox. We're heading to the 7th inning, and we are still knotted at 2. Marty McManus set to lead things off for the Brownies here. McManus has singled twice. He's driven in both of the Browns' runs against Brett and was caught stealing his last time up back in the 4th. So Brett the pitch. 2-7, that's a fly ball to left field. Stillman takes care of that, and we have 1 down. Severide the batter. And split chance on that. And Severide ropes that one into the left center field gap, and he's going to end up on second base with a double. So this is the Browns' first threat since back in the 2nd inning, and Chick Shorten, 1922's first and only designated hitter, steps up. And Shorten rips it, but that's going to be right at Orta, and he puts that away. So a big out there. 2 down now, and Wally Gerber, the batter. Runner in scoring position, that would be Hank Severide. Here comes a pitch. And foul out plus injury, so that's going to be an F2 and not doing injuries in this replay. So the Brownies, they get a 1-out double, but that's as far as that goes. So we're heading to our 7th inning stretch. It's too early to sing, but just imagine me sounding like Whitney Houston. We will be good. And we are still tied at 2 with all the scoring coming in the very first inning as Chet Lemon prepares to lead this off against Van Gilder here in the bottom of the 7th. 6 and a 10, pops him up. So Lemon flies out to Gerber. 1 down for Jim Essien. Essien, 1 and an 8. That's going to be a strikeout. So Van Gilder, that is his 4th K of the game. And back to the top of the order. Alan Bannister up, Van Gilder sets, delivers, and is going to walk him. So that's the 2nd time Bannister has walked today. And we'll see if he tries to steal. He will not. Royal Stillman up. Stillman, the hero of the moment for the White Sox with his 2-run shot back in the 1st inning. 4 and a 5. That's going to be a ground ball down to second, however, and McManus up with that over to Sisler. And again, the White Sox get a base runner, but no threat. And we are heading to the top of the 8th inning. We're still tied at 2 here, as neither team has really done anything but pose a brief and fleeting threat since the 1st inning when both of them scored. Ken Brett to face the top of the order. So this will be the last time for the meet for the Brownies. And 5 and a 7, that's a ground ball to second base, X. And George Orta is a 4. This White Sox team is not stellar defensively. So 4 and a 5, and that's going to be a single. Slips under Orta's glove, he cannot get to it. And Tobin, that's his 3rd hit of the day, he's 3 for 4. He is the only St. Louis Brown who's really swinging the bat well at the moment. He'll try and steal on a roll of 3 or less. He's going, and he's not a very good stealer. D-rated stealer, and with Essien's arm adjustment, it's going to be 1 to 6 to be safe. That does not bode well, and he's gunned down. So Essien, his 2nd thrown out of the game, and that's 1 down. As Tobin, for all intents and purposes, wastes that leadoff single. Frank Ellerby up. And that's going to be a ground ball down to first base. Spencer takes care of that. 3 unassisted, 2 outs. So the Brownies today, some base running faux pas have cost them somewhat. 6-9. And that's going to be a walk for Sisler. Now Sisler is someone who can run. He runs on 6 or less. He just does not get the lead, however. So Ken Williams up, 2 outs, and he could use a hit now. The Brownies 1 and 9, and flies out to center field. So Williams has walked today and scored, but has not gotten a base hit. And that base running gaff was huge. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, still tied up at 2. Van Gilder back out on the mound, and he will face the meat of the White Sox order here in this inning, starting with George Orta. Pitch to Orta, and Van Gilder. Most of the hits the Sox have gotten today have come off his card. He's just had some bad rolls in that 4 column. Orta is not going to try and steal. Richie Zisk up. Zisk can give the Sox a lead with 1 swing of his mighty bat here, and 1-7 fly ball to left field. And Williams puts that away, no problem. So 1 down for Big Jim Spencer. 4-11, and that's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. And again, Gerber is a 2. 2 and a 2, and that's a single 1. So Gerber, normally very solid in the field, can't get to that. Runners advance 1 on that, so the White Sox have something going here. And the Brownies are not going to get anyone up in their pen. It's a very shallow, limited pen. Oscar Gamble steps up. He's 2 for 3 today, a couple of singles. And 4-10, ground ball to third base X in Ellerby, a 3. 14, and Ellerby with a 1 base error, and his glove has been a liability at times for the Brownies thus far. So E5, and we have the bases loaded for the Sox. Van Gilder in a big jam here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 down. Eric Soderholm, 1 for 3, steps in. The pitch. 6-7, ground ball to second base X. So McManus, he needs to make a big play. He's 1. He's a very good fielder at second base. 14 and a 1. And he's going to get that, whips it over to Gerber, back over to Sisler, and they turn the 4-6-3 double play. A huge play by McManus there to get them out of this inning. So bases loaded, twin killing, and the Sox come up with a couple of hits, an error. They leave 2 and cannot get the go-ahead run across. We're heading to the last one, folks, and we are still tied at 2 apiece. So Van Gilder, he's extricated himself from sticky situations twice today via the ground ball double play. And Baby Doll Jacobson set to lead it off here in the 9th. Brett Wines delivers, still going strong. And ground ball third base, X. Soderholm is a 2. 2 and a 20 is going to be roll 20-sided die again. And roll 20-sided die again. And 2 and a 5. Soderholm with a nice play. So Jacobson down. And they have 1 out here in the bottom or the top of the 9th inning. Still knotted up at 2. McManus waits for the pitch. 3 and a 6, and that is a single. So McManus keeps things alive here, and he's going to try and get a lead. Will not be stealing. Hank Severide up. Severide doubled back in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3 on the day. The pitch. And 1 and a 7. That's a split chance. Double or triple, and Severide drives that down the line. It rattles around in the corner, and chasing that down, cannot get to it is Stillman. Takes a bad hop, and all the way around to score is McManus. And Severide doing what the Browns do best, a 1-out triple, and go-ahead run comes across the plate. It is now 3-2 Browns. And in the Chicago bullpen, Dave Hamilton's going to get up and start throwing furiously. Remember house rules. Brett has to face 2 more batters. And he was kind of sailing along going into this inning, so they did not have a reliever up to start the inning. Chick short and up. Runner on third. 6 and a 7. And that's going to be a split chance. He needs that skinny line out, and he gets it. Wow, a fortunate play there. Soderholm makes a nice diving grab of that hard hit line drive. And Severide is forced to hold. So 2 down, runner at third, Wally Gerber up. Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing today, buddy? Working on a Saturday. Ugh, should be playing Strat, my friend. We're in a good one here. Top of the 9th of our Browns Strat replay, Chris, and the Browns have just taken a 3-2 lead over the White Sox in what has been a pitcher's duel since first. So 2 down to Gerber. And 3 and a 10. That's a ground ball down to shortstop. So Bannister's going to put him away. But the Browns finally break through. 1 run on 2 hits, and Hank Severide, the 1-out triple, the big blow here. And we're heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. And our score is 1922 St. Louis Browns 3. All right, Chris. Hey, thanks for dropping in on your break, buddy. Good seeing you this morning. Have a great day. So leading it off now in the bottom of the 9th, last chance for the White Sox against Elam Van Gilder, who has pitched exquisitely since a rather rough first inning. Has had a couple of rough innings along the way, but has managed to get out unscathed thanks to the double play ball. And 4 and a 10, that's a ground ball down to Ellerby. Ellerby is a 3. 3 and a 9, Ellerby with a fine pickup there, guns it over to Sisler, and 1 down. So Van Gilder 2 outs away. Jim Essien steps up. Essien homered yesterday, and Essien draws a walk. And again, the Browns, they have no one in the bullpen. They're going to ride Van Gilder out here, win, lose, or draw. 1 out, runner on for Alan Bannister. And that's a ground ball down to second base. And that will be a fielder's choice. So 4-6, Essien erased. And Bannister on first, fielder's choice. And again, nobody on this White Sox team runs well. Bannister needs a 2 to try and steal. Not going to get it. Down to their last out. Royal Stillman up. The pitch. And that's going to be a line out right at Marty McManus, who spears that. Taps his glove and flips the ball up into the air. This one is over. The White Sox get a walk in the bottom of the 9th inning, but cannot put across a tying run. And the St. Louis Browns move to 7 and 3 in this 1977 Time Machine replay with a nail-biter, a 3-2 victory, won in the top of the 9th on a 1-out triple by Hank Severide that plated Marty McManus. So your winner today, Elam Van Gilder, he moves to 2 and 1 in this replay. And Ken Brett, borrowed from California because he was not carded with Chicago, takes the loss, but he pitched pretty well. Give me just a sec to get the final line score here. So for the day, the Brownies get 3 runs on 9 hits and 1 error by our usual culprit, Frank Ellerby. The Chi Sox, they come up with 8 hits on the day, 2 runs, and no errors. So that'll be it. Our 1922 St. Louis Browns Strat Time Machine replay. And signing off for this one. Until next time, keep rolling for the fences. Have a good one.